Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, it's the Midday Market Report with Jeff Dawson.
ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app. Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it's that time of the week. It's the weekend. Grab yourself a cold one. As I say in the description every Friday, grab your seeds, grab your lawn chairs, and we'll take you on to a trip to Omaha sooner than later. We're at the halfway point. We still got a lot of baseball, conference finals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So two men in a box. Shout out to Quentin Mills, working hard. And, of course, we're proud of you, and thank you for your service there, of course. And, Smitty, if you're here and listening, we miss you. We got an open spot here. Don't be shy. You know, you can jump on anytime here. The water's warm, still cold on Cape Cod, but, you know, where you guys are probably from, it's a lot warmer. So first and foremost, a shout out to our proud sponsor and partnership, of course, WagerWire. If you have not downloaded the app, shame on you. Please download the app. It's free. Head on over to Google Play or wherever you do download the apps. Get yourself acclimated to the app. Scroll down the bottom. Take advantage of all the sports books that are available in your state. Why? Free play, match play, promos, pop boosts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the real thing that we want you to do is to start to window shop. Why pay minus 128 at XYZ company when you can scroll down to the bottom and pay minus 109 and save yourself 21 cents? For every $100 you wager, that's 21 bucks. Every day, every week, every month, that adds up. And at the end of the year, that's a lot of coin to save. So if you want to join the WagerWire team and looking to make a little flash cash, send an email to affiliate@wagerwire.com. Tell them JD from ECSI sent you. Travis, Zach, the rest of this team, second to none, will take good care of you. And I can guarantee you this, a year from now, you thank me, because we had long left the station and we're going to be in a lot of places and states. So you can book that one. No pun intended. So without further ado, let's bring in the star of the show, the one and only Mr. Matt Grissom.
Hello. Son. Not on a golf course today. Thank you all for your patience last week. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. Getting to do two things, talk baseball and play golf. I really don't know a better way to spend a Friday.
Well, no, we were all jealous. Sir. How did you manage that one?
I ended up playing terribly, but I think the worst day of playing golf is better than the best day of work. So I'll take it all day.
Well, again, we got raving reviews on that one. So keep up the great work there as always. But how goes the battle, as we like to say?
We're sitting here at week 11. Season's coming to a close. I think we've got 3 more weekends of baseball, and then conference play will start. We're tweaking the website right now. Very exciting. I stayed up till about 1:30 last night working on it. It's good. I think, I feel like I've just regurgitated this. So if you've already heard me say this twice this week, I apologize. But I feel like every year there is, 8 to 12 teams. There's good parity in college baseball of teams that have a legitimate shot to win it all. This year, I feel like there's 4 or 5. And, you've got 4 right there in the SEC in Kentucky, Tennessee, Texas A&M, Arkansas, and then you could throw in Clemson from there. There may be some other teams, depending on matchups and regionals and super regionals, stuff like that. You may get like a Virginia or a North Carolina, Coastal Carolina could maybe come out of that as a mid-major. But the problem is you're with the transfer portal and NIL and all of the possibilities at these larger schools, they're so much deeper than these small schools. And I feel like that's where in the postseason it exposes. And you saw it with Campbell last year. They had a pretty phenomenal year. Unfortunately, didn't make it. So I think at the end of the day, you're really looking at 4 or 5, really just 4 teams that I think have a legit shot of winning it all. And so I hope you jumped on their futures early, because I don't know if those numbers are going to be here.
For someone that has 2 daughters, one graduate, one sophomore at UConn, I'm always talking about their program, a program that has gotten stronger year by year here. And I've always said this to you, to anyone that wants to listen. The problem with UConn is when they get into these tournaments, their pitching is not as long and strong as the SEC and some of the other power conferences. So what ends up happening is once you get through the conference play and then you get through the conference tournament, and now, as you said, the regionals, the super regionals, you're getting yourself into these 2-3 games where it's the first one to 15, 16, or 17, because you just don't have the pitch. And, by the third inning, it's 9-2 and you're scratching your head. How do I get out of this?
Yeah. And I mean, look, I used to say that to make it to Omaha and to win, you'd have to have at least 3.5 arms, like meaning 3 guys that could go the distance, 5-6 innings, and then somebody that could close it down, because leads are so precious, especially in Omaha. You're talking about, games that are ending in 3-4, 4-5, stuff like that. So you really need a good closer. Now I feel like you need even more than 3.5 arms. You need like 5.5, because by the time you get through regionals, super regionals, you get to Omaha, if you don't have pitching, you're not going far. And TCU, they played really, really well at the end of the season last year, and their pitchers were all on track and their hitters woke up, but you saw them, they just could not sit there. The teams that did have that deep pitching, Florida, Wake Forest, LSU. And I feel like that's even more magnified this year, because you only have legitimately 3 teams, in my opinion, that have those deep bullpens, and that's Texas A&M, Tennessee, Arkansas.
Like any other big tournament and stuff, usually what happens is teams get hot. So as you said, you got the 4 in the SEC. You talked about a 1 or 2 in the ACC. Obviously, a year Wake Forest is down. Last year we talked about Wake, Virginia. There was a couple in the ACC as well. I'm always asking you, who are some of those smaller teams that, might get hot? You've talked about a Coastal. You've talked about other schools. I mean, we're at the halfway point. We're past the halfway point. I know a few of my guys are getting ready for finals already. And before you know it, Matt, we're going to be talking about Cape League baseball, and the tournament here is still going on. So past the halfway point, give us a few.
I'm so glad you asked that, because we just released something that I've been working on. It's the IPR, which oddly enough is RPI backwards. It's Insider's Power Rating. So what we wanted to do was we wanted to give a rating of how teams are performing as of late, and then weight that with their overall record, as well as things like team pitching, strength of schedule, and then team hitting, which we use advanced analytics on all pitching and hitting. It's weighted runs created plus, and then Sierra for pitchers. Illinois, they are 10-0 in their last 10. So you can go into the Insiders Power Ratings on collegebaseballinsiders.com, and you can click on the rankings sheet, and we've got it sorted. You can pick last 10 win percentage. Illinois is 10-0 over their last 10. East Carolina is 9-0 or 9-1 in their last 10. Arizona 9-1 in the last 10. Oklahoma is another one, 9-1 in their last 10. Tennessee, to round it out, 9-1 in their last 10. These are the teams that you want to be looking at. Now, Tennessee's odds are already diminished. I think they're like plus 800, 900 right now. But, let's call it what it is. Illinois, the Big Ten, not very good. Illinois is trending, though. Like they're playing really, really well. This may not be a good time to back them in the future, but it would be a team that I would want on my card if I'm betting these games game by game. East Carolina, though, that's a mid-major that's playing really, really well. They do have some pitching depth with Zach Root, Trey Savage. Their bats have woken up a little bit. They've got 39th strength schedule. Their RPI ranked number 8. I don't know what their odds are off the top of my head, but you can still probably get a pretty good number on them. And then, like I said, Tennessee, they're probably at the best price you're going to get them at, because I do feel like they're going to do well the rest of the season. And that may be one, if you don't have a ticket on. I actually asked Smitty yesterday on our show, if you had $100 given to you and you had to place the bet on a college baseball future, who would you pick? And he said Tennessee. So there you go. Take Smitty's imaginary $100, throw it on Tennessee. They've got the pitching. They've really got the hitting this year. Christian Moore, Blake Burke, Billy Amick from Clemson, they can absolutely smash the ball, and they can pitch really well too.
Before we get into what happened last week and this week's slate here for you, can you explain what you were just saying? And I want to say, I know exactly what you're talking about. Why? Because that's what we do here. We talk about pre-flop, adding tickets and futures to our portfolio. We had a mid-November, early December Purdue and UConn in the men's championship. We added Auburn and Kentucky, who lost in the first game of the tournament, but we had ourselves positioned where each game kind of sort of mattered, where if we win this game, we're set up nice in the next game / round, where we can put a little money on the other side to cover the future. And if we lose it, we're okay, because we're getting big value taking the next step, whether it was now to the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8, but in baseball, regionals, super regionals, OMAHA, etc.
Yeah, I mean, that's the key, right? You want to try to bet these odds early. You want to get the best number. I look at it like investing in the stock market. If you could predict that team X is going to shoot up, in the rankings, like trying to think of a team that maybe didn't start. I can think of a lot that started at the top and dropped. Florida, TCU. Maybe Clemson. I don't think they were rated super high coming into the season. They kind of shot up the boards. I know Noah Beanick with the SGPN College Experience podcast, he got Clemson at circa 40-1. I grabbed them 35-1. I think right now they're one of the shorter shots. Texas A&M, I got 15-1 before the season started. But then, I also got some bad numbers or some bad teams, really, in TCU, Florida, Iowa. Just threw some pizza money on the Hawkeyes. But yeah, you just want to sit there and try to position yourself to where at the end of the day, you're up money because you have so much equity in all these tickets without going crazy. I mean, only 8 teams can make it to Omaha. I try to limit it to like maybe 10 futures bets on actually winning it all. And if I can get 4 of the 8, 5 of the 8 in Omaha that I have a futures ticket on, now you're cooking. And thankfully, I've been able to do that successfully for several years now.
Well, we're cooking with Crisco, as we like to say here. I have a handful. I have Arkansas. I wonder why I have Arkansas. Wink, wink. Get some A&M.
Same reason Sammy P has Arkansas.
Talk about last weekend, where your eyes were, how you did overall, and what did you see?
I'm trying to think. Last weekend, I think my biggest surprise was, even though they lost the series, how well Kentucky played. They beat Tennessee in Lexington in game 1. And I was like, all right, wow, this is a legit team. I got them 20-1 to win the College World Series, put my money where my mouth was. But then they ended up losing the series. But it was a very hard-fought, contested series. They do have the depth. They do have the hitting, which really surprised me because that was their biggest knock for me going in. I thought this was a small ball playing club. Had okay pitching, but against tough competition, which part of that may have been because they were at home, they stepped up and they contended very well with Tennessee. Another team, Texas A&M, they just continue to dominate. They're the number 1 team in the country, hands down. They are better in hitting than pretty much any other team. I think Tennessee may be the closest one to them, but they're number 1 in hitting on our rankings, and then they're number 2 in pitching. I mean, this is a team that is so well balanced. They're scary. I feel like a lot is going to play into that series against Arkansas and College Station to close out the regular season. You're talking about a lot of things on the line. The SEC West, the SEC number 1 overall seed, the number 1 overall seed in the postseason for all of college baseball. You get a 1 versus 2 likely, is assuming nothing crazy happens over the next 2 weeks. You're going to get number 1, number 2 to close out the season in a game that it may be part of how I don't want to win because I don't want to be the number 1 overall, or yeah, we do because there's the curse, right? It's no number 1 overall seed is won since 1999. I know that's looming over people's heads. You don't want to be number 1 overall, but do you really want to throw a series against the number 1 and number 2 team? No. I don't know.
Big weekend. We have no Quentin Mills, like I says, and rumor has it. This is just rumor, and we know the truth here, but we'll say it anyways here. Give me 1 second here. Fenway, no. Let me do this, and then
Fenway's trying to get some airtime.
Yes, he is. Rumor has it, we know Quentin Mills is working hard right now. I already gave him a shout out early.
Maybe. We don't know that for sure.
Well, I'm looking, and thanks to you guys, of course, here at College Insiders here. I got your scorecard for the weekend right here. Brilliant work as always. But again, my eyes don't lie. Rumor has it, I'm getting the DMs blown up right now. The reasons he's not here is that his Gators are at Arkansas, and not only that, got to face Hagen Smith tonight.
Yeah, I'm disappointed because Q, we had this series circled. Q was going to come down. We've actually never met in person. I don't know if you knew that. It's crazy. We've been doing a show together for over a year now. But Pierce Capalla is going to go for Florida against Hagen Smith. He's been off injury. Capalla, he's probably going to give you 1 or 2, maybe 3 innings if they can stretch him. Hagen Smith should be regular Hagen Smith. I was actually surprised the projections were so in favor of Arkansas. And then I saw what DraftKings hung the line at, and I was like, all right, well, that is what it is. I think we're like minus 280 or something. It's insane to think that Florida, who was like preseason top 5, now we're, almost 3-1 against them. Or, laying 3 against the team that has fallen off. But look, Florida's not very good this year. They have nobody on the mound. They're still uber talented. I think Florida gets a game, even though I think the Hogs are riding a 25-game home win streak right now. Big news out of the bullpen for Arkansas, though. Mason Molina, who's kind of been he started the season as our game 3 guy, then moved to game 2. He is out with an ankle injury. Dave Van Horn said he was going to bench him this week, let him get rested up. He should be fine. So it's going to be Brady Taggart tomorrow. And then depending on weather, we've got terrible weather here in Arkansas for the next 4 or 5 days. But you're probably going to get a doubleheader at some point with Taggart and then Colin Fisher, who's been serviceable for those midweek starts. So that's just something to keep an eye on when you're talking about the series overall. It's really hard to win both in a doubleheader, especially in the SEC. We saw it last week as Arkansas took on South Carolina. They couldn't wake up in game 1 came back in game 2, really took care of business to win that series in Columbia. But yeah, so back to the scoreboard. This is my dream. I mean, we get it in the MLB. I don't know why college baseball, it should be against the law to not announce who your starting pitcher is, because that's the hardest thing for everybody, even us, to try to figure out. So how nice would it be to be able to go to collegebaseballinsiders.com and right there on the scoreboard, now obviously it would show game times and odds and stuff like that we would incorporate later, but this is what I want. This is the simplicity of show me who's playing and who the starting pitchers are, and then we've thrown in our win probability there using our advanced analytics. It's just beautiful, in my opinion. Nobody else is doing it. We're trying to be the first to market with it. I mean, we're just trying to grow the game, Jeff, doing everything we possibly can.
No, you guys are you're absolutely crushing it. And again, we go back to last year. This is our second year doing the show with you. And listen, I'm going to give him a plug right now. Go follow JTV, Johnny V, on Twitter, because he is, how should I say this politically correct? As the season progresses and more eyes get on the game, he's the first one to crack the whip. Oh, now you're jumping. Where have you been all these years? And again, he wears his heart on his sleeve. He loves the game, just like you, just like Q, just like Smitty. You guys are growing the game, and because of you guys, you get your guest appearances on Vice and some other platforms. Why? Because they're trying to grow the game. So hats off, Mr. Grissom.
Well, thank you. We love it, man. And I honestly think that there's no better sport to gamble on because, one, the bullpen stinks. So you could be down 8-0. You think, I'm going to throw this ticket away. We're done. I was laughing because Sean Alvarez, which I don't know where he is today, better tune into this show. He was like, sorry, we lost on the Padres or something. And it was like 5-2 in the 6th. Well, my mind thinking, college baseball, shoot, 5-2 is nothing. We do that in one inning. And I'm like, did the bet lose? I think the game's still going on. He was like, no, but it's going to. I'm like, oh, man, how brutal is that? Where like a game could be over by the 6th inning? Not college baseball. It may not be over for the 15th, 16th inning. Who knows? But with a metal bat and terrible bullpens, it's always a fun sweat.
I think he's talking about the Padres had an 8-run lead in Colorado the other night, and they ended up giving up 8. They were up 9-2, and then they gave up 8 and lost 10-9. I think that was the snare of that story. Sean will be on next Thursday or Friday, breaking down the 150th run for the Roses, and the Kentucky Derby is next Saturday. So make sure you reciprocate when he comes on. He's going to give out a few winners. Hopefully the winner of the Derby and maybe a trifecta and exacta to boot. How's that sound?
Heck yeah. When is the Kentucky Derby?
Next Saturday.
Sweet. I'm going to Vegas May 16th.
You are?
I'll be out there hanging out with him.
All right. I'll leave this up here for now, as we always do here. Give us your 6-pack, your leans, your money line parlays. What are your eyes seeing this weekend so we can get some action going?
So as of right now, I've kind of littered the board. I'm testing out a couple of matchups just that our projections like. So I put a little quarter unit on several dogs. There's Kansas, there's Troy, St. John's, Cincinnati, and Illinois. But as far as my bigger bets, I've got Arkansas. I got it at -230. Felt like that was about as high as you could bet that one. North Carolina was another one, -190. We made it around -200. I really wouldn't play it much higher than that. I do kind of like the Arkansas North Carolina parlay, but when you're looking at, trying to get something around even money, you could do that with Arkansas Houston if you wanted to. I also like Arizona Houston, going back to the last 10 win percentage. Arizona's playing really hot right now. They should take care of business pretty handedly this weekend, and I think they'll do it tonight. Houston's another team that's kind of sneaky good. I really like their starting pitcher, whose name has escaped me. I think it's maybe Van Sickle. No, that's somebody else. Satelli, maybe, for Houston. Trying to think. Looking around, Reese Dutton with Kansas. That was a quarter unit play, but they're plus 105, even money. Reese Dutton's been a pretty solid Friday night guy for Kansas. I may end up making that a half unit play. Florida State. So this is an interesting one, and we can go to the board here. They're taking on Duke, which, as you know, because I think I gave it out and Sean went and jumped on it, but Duke with Jonathan Santucci's pretty much been like unstoppable on Friday nights. Our projections actually like Jamie Arnold and Florida State better in this one. I get that it's at Durham, but Florida State is kind of a sneaky, dangerous team. Their strength schedule is not as good as what Duke has faced, but Jamie Arnold has been absolutely money. He's got a 1.65 ERA. He's got a better Sierra than Santucci. So I really would have liked to get plus money on Florida State. You may still be able to if you hold out, but as of right now, I think Florida State should be able to win that game. I'm trying to think what else. Clemson and Mississippi State. Those are two more. Mississippi State's like plus 145 right now. I think that they're going to be able to keep it close enough to where if we get to the bullpen, Mississippi State should be able to beat Vanderbilt. I'm just still not sold on this Vanderbilt team. I just don't think they're very good.
And who's Clemson got?
Clemson is playing. I'm looking. Hang on. It's right there in front of me. Louisville. I just needed to get back to this screen. You had everything right there for me.
All right, there we go. Let me get out of this for us here. And we're going to remove.
Did you like my rambling, trying to buy some time while I was frantically looking for the screen? Do you ever have so many? This is like how my brain works. Do you ever have so many windows popped up on your screen? That's just constantly in my brain. Is I feel like, oh, nope, I don't need that right now. Close out of that. Oh, I hit the X. I need that back. That may be ADHD, Jeff.
When I start the day, I start with one screen. Probably by my fourth or fifth cup of coffee, I got about 9, 10, 11 tabs open. The only problem is when I do a show, I don't want to drain it because, you get too many tabs, or, you leave a Spank Odds up, you leave a DraftKings up, and next thing you know, we'll be spinning every 2 seconds and it'll be wah, 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 and Charlie Brown here. So we don't want that.
That's about me at like 4:30 in the afternoon is everything just starts spinning and I'm wah, wah, wah.
I thought that was only at the Circa on Fremont Street.
No, I'm zoned in when I'm in Vegas. It's like, the myth of they pump the oxygen in there really gets you hyped up and going. I'm in my zone there. It's at home. I get lost in like the day-to-day, the fog of work and just staring at a computer for too long. But I mean, with the work that we're doing on this website, this should alleviate a lot of work off my plate to be able to just send people to the site. You create your own matchup preview. I mean, I love doing it. But at the end of the day, I'm not, but 8 or 9, 10 previews. This can do infinite. You can sit there and preview 305 teams in college baseball, see how they'd match up against anybody but the Yankees. Like it's an awesome tool. You should go use it while it's free because we hope to improve it enough to where we can get, some type of subscription base, but that's for another time. As long as we can, it's going to be free.
Ask and you shall receive at 3:05. Mr. Sean Alvarez, a.k.a. Mr. Smooth, wishes everyone a happy Friday. And as I said, Sean, we will have you on next Thursday or Friday. Do me a favor, Sean. In my DMs on Twitter, Tell me what your schedule looks like for Thursday or Friday. What will be best so that we can do the Kentucky Derby with you there? Sean's been on fire with us the last couple of years, picking winners, exactas, maybe even a trifecta or two. So Sean is definitely the man. Go follow Mr. Smooth on Twitter. He and actually working at Wager Talk as well. And I'm going over to Wager Talk with Andrew McGinnis in about 15 minutes. Going to talk some NHL as well. Scroll has been going the whole time, Mr. Grissom, but this is where I give you the front stage and tell everyone where to find all your work, your website, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
collegebaseballinsiders.com. Go check it out. Our link trees, NCAA Insiders. And then I'm at Grissom on X. You can follow us on Twitter also at NCAA Insiders. So go check it out. If you haven't played around with the matchup preview, go do it. You don't even have to have the starting pitcher if you just want to do team A, team B, see what the win probabilities are. It's a fun little tool. It uses all the advanced analytics from XFIP to Sierra to compare pitching to weighted runs created, WOBA. It just kind of gives you a projection of which team should win and the odds probability of what the line should be. So try to help you find an edge.
Well, another Friday in the books as we get closer to conference championship, regionals, super regionals, Omaha, but we got a ways to go there. Shout out to everyone watching. If you're new to the channel, jump on over to YouTube at East Coast Sports Investors. Subscribe. It's free. Turn on the notifications. Never miss a show with Mr. Grissom, Mr. Smooth, Andrew McGinnis, Julian Edlow from DraftKings. The list is endless. So let's all go have a day. Let's cash some tickets in the college baseball, and we will see you soon.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.